Hello my friends, welcome back to my 4-Star School YouTube channel, and in this lesson I'm going to talk about the tab bar in the Flutter. As you can see from today's agenda, I will talk about two different approaches to make a tab bar in the Flutter. So the first one is use this default tab controller, and the second one is you create your own staple widget. Also implement this a single ticker provider state maxim. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification. Also, if you can thumbs up my video, I will be really appreciate. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to talk how we can use this default tab controller first. So back to Visual Studio Code and also open our Android emulator. As you can see here, this is our very basic project. Only have these simple text widget inside this scaffold. And we will start from this point. And in order to use this default tab controller, and we're going to replace this scaffold with our default tab controller. So inside this default tab controller, there are two required name parameters we need to specify. The first is the name. So I'm going to specify we have 3 tabs, and also another one would be this child, right? So for the child, I'm going to place the scaffold widget. Scaffold. Right. So inside the scaffold, remember we have the TabBar attribute, right? So in TabBar, we're going to use the default Flutter TabBar, and inside this TabBar, we can specify its title, right? So I'm going to give some text, maybe TabBar demo, right? And we have another attribute inside this TabBar, so which is the button attribute. So we're going to place this TabBar inside this button attribute. So as you can see from this agenda, and inside this button, we can place our TabBar widget, which is previewed by Flutter team. We have a different attribute we can specify. So the most important is this tab attribute. So we're going to use another built-in class called tab. So let's back to Visual Studio Code. So inside this button attribute, I'm going to place our TabBar widget, which is previewed by Flutter team. And also you move your mouse, you see we need to implement this required name parameter, which is these tabs. And inside this tab, it took a list of widgets. So I can place this tabbed widget. I place 3 tabbed widgets. So inside the tab widget, and we can pass like icon or text. So here I'm going to pass the icon. I'm using icon class. Going to icons, directions card, and another I will place with direction bike and also direction transit. I'm going to replace it with direction transit, and the third one would be direction bike. Okay, so let's save. Now you see we have these 3 TabBar coming up. And the first one is our direction card, this card, and the second one is our transit icon, and the third one is this bike icon. And we can change different tabs, right, and show different content. In order to show different content inside this scaffold, we have a body attribute, remember? So we can specify our body attribute. And we need to place this TabBarView inside our body attribute. So this TabBarView also pre-built by Flutter team. So we can use this TabBarView right? Inside this TabBarView, it requires us to implement its children attribute. Inside these children, I'm going to place 3 widgets so we can choose when the tab click. So I'm going to play 3 widgets in here. So the first one indicate we select this car icon, and the second one is this transit, and third one is this bike. So as you can see here, and we are in this bike tab, so the content shows its bike here, and when we select the transit, you will see this text will change to transit. When I click the first icon, those widgets will change to our first widget, which we specify inside this tab view. And you remember we specify the total length of our tab bar to 3, so we can specify 3 tabs and also 3 tab view, right? You can place any pages here, your custom widget. In here, just replace those 3. And here just a very basic example. You can place any custom widget here as long as they are 3. And we also have a different attribute inside this tab bar. So first, you can see here inside this tab widget, we have the text attribute, so we can give it the label, right? So inside this text, will require a string. So I'm going to give a string like car, and also I will copy and paste here and change the text to transit. And I'll do for the third, change it to the bike. So I save. You're going to see our tab. We have these 3 labels under the icon, right? You see we have these label. And also back to agenda, you will see we have a different attribute we can apply when we use these tab bar. So the first one is this indicate color. So the indicate color means this white bar here. So here I'm going to change it is indicate color. I select indicate color, I change to yellow, and I save. And you will notice this bar will turn to yellow. You see this bar. When I select, the bar will turn to yellow. So let's click the middle one and the bike. Right, this is our indicate color. And next one I'm going to talk is this indicator size. So we can use the class called TabBar indicator size. It provides 2 different static attributes we can use. The one is a tab, another is a label. So we're going to change it, and you see what's the effect coming up. So I'm going to implement this indicate size, and we're going to use the I think it's a TabBar indicator size. So TabBar indicator size, right? And there are 2 sizes. First one is this label, another is this tab. So let's choose this label and we save. You see this size will just as long as our label, right? For this transit, you see it's much longer. For this bike, this one is we change to label. So the default is tab. So you will take even space among those 3. So this one is our indicator size. So the next one is the label indicator. So we can change the text, the color, text color. So I want to change to yellow as well. So I use the label color, and I copy the color we use for our indicator. Okay, when I save, you will see all the tab and icon will change to yellow. And we also have this unselect label color, and we can change. So we can implement unselect label color, and we give it white color. So when you save, you will see the select one will be yellow, and those unselected will be white. And we also can customize it even more. So we have this indicator attribute. So this indicator will take this decoration class. So we could use the box decoration, which is a subclass of the decoration. And inside this decoration, we can choose. We can change it is a border radius or color, or also place an image as the background. Right. So here I only change it is border radius and color. So you can see. And I'm going to change it is border radius, and I'm going to use border radius circular, and only A is enough. Also, I change the color to green. So I save, and you will see now this indicator will change to green. So I change the circular number to 30. Yeah, you see we have this oval shape indicator. You can also inside this box decoration, we can also implement it is image attribute, and we could use this decoration image like when we did in the container. Another important note is that we have this is scorable attribute. So as you can see here, we only have 3 tabs. So if we have more than like 10, so by default it is not going to scroll, so you will collab together. So you could use this is scorable attribute, and you set to true, so you can scorable. So maybe I change this text to 9, right? And also I just copy those, I duplicate these. Also for SNS this tab view, we need to make a consistent. So when I save, you'll see it's hard to see those labels because it's very small. So I'm going to implement it is scrollable, and I set to true. So when I set to true, and those tabs can be scrollable now. You see, we only show the first 6, and we can scroll. It's scroll, and we can see another 3, right? And that's all for our default tab controller. So the next one I'm going to talk is this single ticker provider state mixing. So here I'm going to delete all of them because I'm going to make another stable widget since we're going to use those mixing. So I'm going to declare another stable widget, and I call it my app. So I don't think I need this constructor for now. So we're going to return our material app, material app, and we have this home attribute. So inside we have a scaffold widget. So in order to implement the TabBar in our stable widget, we're going to use the mixin, so which is the single ticker provider state mixin. Then we're going to implement our initial state method, and also initial our tab controller. So I'm going to create our tab controller. So make it a private attribute. So, and we're going to initial inside our initial state. Going to use this tab controller. Inside tab controller, we're going to give the length, and also pass these and mixing. So the date keyword just means we will initially later. So also we need to implement it is dispose the method, and I'm going to dispose the tab controller. Okay, so we set our controller. So next I'm going to implement what we did in default tab controller. So inside this scaffold, we can implement this TabBar attribute. So we parse the default TabBar, and we implement the title. I give the title TabBar demo, right? And also we have this button attribute. So inside this button attribute, we can implement our TabBar, and we need to, because this TabBar requires us to implement this tab. So inside this tab, I'm going to use the tab class and also implement this icon. Going to use icon class and direction. I think directions car, right? So the first one is car, and the second one is transit, and the third one is the bike. Third one is bike. And also remember, unlike the first one, we need to pass our controller inside our tab bar. So this controller, we're going to pass our tab controller here. Also, so for the body attribute inside this scaffold, so we're going to implement this TabBarView, right? So TabBarView, we're going to implement its children, and also we have a 3 center text widget. So here for symbol, I just call it car, and I'm going to duplicate it. And the second one would be transit, and the third one would be bike. And also for this one, we also need to pass our controller, tab controller, right? So we save, we open our emulator. So you will see we have this same tab bar, like what we implement using the default controller. So the differences between the one we use now is we have this TabBar controller. So we can add some listener to this TabBar controller. For example, when I click this icon, so I want some event to trigger, right? So I can in our initial state, and using this we can add some listener, so we can do our some event logic here, right? So this is the differences between this default controller and this single ticket provider state mixin. Okay, that's all for today's lesson. And if you have any question, please comment out below, and I will try my best to help you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There will be a Flutter UI tutorial coming out in this week. So I hope you can enjoy my Flutter UI tutorial as well. So I will see you in next video. Thanks for watching.